Hello shiny hunters! In this video, I'm going to show you how to hunt for specific shiny unknown forms in Pokémon Legends Arceus. Perhaps you're simply looking to capture the shiny version of your favorite letter in the alphabet, mine's T, or maybe you're searching for that last stubborn unknown to complete your collection. Whatever the reason, by understanding your game's RNG and how to manipulate it, you can hunt for any unknown with specificity. This technique is precise, efficient, and once you get the hang of it, repeatable. Let's get into it. Before we begin, it's important to understand what RNG is. In most Pokemon games, including PLA, a random number generator, or RNG, is used to simulate randomness and relies on a seed value with which to generate events in-game. These events include the quantity and characteristics of Pokemon that spawn in the overworld, such as their stats, gender, and shininess. This seed value will serve as a guide for our hunt, and thanks to community research, we now understand how these seed values are assigned, as well as how they can be manipulated by catching, knocking out, or even scaring spawns on the map. These spawns include those found in outbreaks, massive mass outbreaks, and multi-spawn points. It's this last category of spawns that we're most interested in for our hunt, the multi-spawn point. Multi-spawn points are specific locations in the game which spawn multiple Pokemon at once. For example, have you ever noticed that Combee tend to spawn in clusters of 2 or 3 at a time? That's because these Pokemon are generated by multi-spawn points. There are two types of multi-spawn points. Regular multi-spawn points, which spawn the same number of Pokemon each time, and variable multi-spawn points, which can spawn a range of Pokemon at a time, usually between 1 and 3. Luckily for us, Unknown can spawn using variable multi-spawn points in the Solaceon ruins, which are located in the Crimson Mirelands. Before we begin, in order to execute this technique, you'll need the following: an installation of the program PLA Reverse GUI from GitHub. Note, this program will also require an installation of Python version 3.9.6 to 3.13 to run on both Mac and Windows operating systems. Access to a Discord bot to calculate your seed. I suggest joining Shiny Hunters Anonymous, an inclusive Pokemon-based community server where technology and partnership are combined. A decimal to hex converter, and an unknown multi-spawn tracker worksheet to help track your hunt. I've included quick links for all these programs and resources in the description below. Lastly, I would like to give a special thanks to Lincoln, who developed the PLA Reverse GUI program, which enables shiny hunters like you and me to do this hunt, and the Shiny Hunters Anonymous community, who provided the guidance and support I needed to complete my shiny unknown living dex. Now, let's begin. Step 1. Setting up the hunt. To set up the hunt, we first need to find a multi-spawn point where exactly 2 unknown appear. Again, exactly 2 unknown. To do so, we'll visit the Solaceon ruins, which, again, are located in the Crimson Mirelands. In the ruins, there are 2 unknown multi-spawn points. One is located near the entrance to the ruins, and the other is located in the opposite corner towards the back. Make sure to not confuse the unknown coming from these different spawn points when counting or conducting your hunt. In this case, we have 2 unknowns spawning in both multi-spawn points. But if they're not exactly 2 unknowns spawning from either of these locations, you will need to reset. To reset, you must despawn the unknown currently at the multi-spawn point or points, and you can do so by catching, scaring, or knocking the unknown out. Once they've been despawned, you must return to camp. While at camp, take note of the current time of day and weather. You can do so by checking the time and weather icons located in the upper left and right-hand corners of the map. In this example, it is currently daytime and sunny. Once you take note of the current time and weather, you must now sleep to the same time of day, but different weather condition. In the Crimson Mirelands, there are 6 different weather conditions possible: clear, cloudy, rainy, thunderstorm, strong sunlight, and fog. While some of these weather conditions may appear similar in the overworld, I suggest checking the icon in the upper right corner of your map to confirm the weather change with certainty. Once the weather has changed, return to the Celestion ruins. Once you've found a multi-spawn point with exactly 2 unknown, catch them. If you fail to catch them, then you must continue to reset. Once caught, return to the base camp and, again, sleep to the same type of day until the weather changes. Return to the multi-spawn point and confirm that new unknown have indeed spawned. Do not catch, scare, or knock out these unknown. Instead, return to camp and save your game. We have now set up our hunt and we are ready to calculate our seed value. Step 2. Calculating the seed. To calculate your seed value, return to Jubilife Village and speak with Simona to initiate a trade. This trade will be done in online mode, i.e. with someone far away. Basically, you will show your unknown to the trade bot from Discord and a decimal seed value will be calculated and messaged to you. Using the decimal to hex converter linked below, calculate the hex value. This value will later be used in the PLA reverse GUI program. I suggest recording this value in either a note or the unknown multi-spawn tracker worksheet, which again is linked below. Be sure to not save during this process. In fact, once you are done, please shut off your game. Step 3. Tracking spawn counts. Now that we have our seed value, we are still missing one more piece of vital information before we can begin our hunt. That information is the quantity of unknown that are set to spawn over the next 8 to 15 sleep cycles. This information, combined with our seed value, will help PLA reverse GUI predict the quantity of unknown we should catch, scare, or knock out in each cycle, so that our favorite shiny will appear. This information, combined with our seed value, will help PLA reverse GUI predict the quantity of unknown we should catch, scare, or knock out in each cycle so that our favorite shiny will appear. Essentially, all we need to do is show up to the multi-spawn point, record the number of spawns, and clear them all, again, by either catching, scaring, or battling them. I suggest catching. Once the unknown have all been despawned, return to camp and sleep until the same type of day but different weather. Return to the multi-spawn point and repeat. If you're hunting for a few unknown forms, you may only need to catch 8 rounds of spawns before you find a shiny path. However, if you're looking for one specific unknown form, for example, unknown T, then you may need to catch up to 15 cycles before a path towards that specific outcome is found. Again, we have not yet begun our hunt, so do not save during this process. We are simply collecting the necessary intel with which to figure out the optimal path to permute for our hunt, which leads me to step 4. Step 4. Finding your path. Now we must input our seed value and spawn counts into PLA reverse GUI. To do so, launch the program and select your multi-spawn point. In this case, select the Crimson Mirelands. The 2 black pins indicate the 2 multi-spawn locations for unknown. When you click on them, you should see the various unknown forms listed as possible Pokemon species catchable from this point. After selecting the appropriate multi-spawn point, click Open Generator. In this module, enter the necessary information to conduct the hunt. This includes the hexadecimal seed, the spawn count values, which should be separated by a dash and arrow, and in the left-hand panel, the unknown form or forms that you'd like to hunt. Under the shiny filter dropdown, star/square should be selected, and if you're interested in alphas, you can do so by using the alpha checkbox. Once all the necessary information has been completed, click Generate to view potential paths. The first path is typically the shortest and easiest to hunt, but you can try to see if there are any paths that may yield multiple shinies and therefore may be more effective. Step 5. Analyze your path. Once you've selected a path, I suggest transposing the spawns into the unknown multi-spawn tracker worksheet. If you right-click on your selected path in the PLA reverse GUI program, it will provide more details related to the hunt, such as the specific unknown forms that should appear in each phase of the hunt. You should note that the first 2 in the path can be ignored, as that represents the first 2 unknown that were cleared and sent to the trade bot for calculating our seed in step 1 of this tutorial. Finally, we arrive at step 6, executing your path. Now it's time to actually begin the hunt. If you haven't already, restart your Switch. Once you restart your game, return to your multi-spawn point and clear the quantity of unknown that are indicated by your selected path. In this case, I need to clear all 3 spawns. Easy. Again, you can do so by catching, scaring, or knocking out the unknown in battle. When you're done, return to camp, sleep until a different time of day until the weather changes. Then rinse and repeat. I've sped up my footage so you can see my progress throughout the hunt, but there are some important reminders. Steps where you need to clear out all or none of the unknown at your multi-spawn point are the easiest, but steps where you're only clearing out 1 or 2 spawns can be tricky. The reason being that if you accidentally scare one of the unknowns in your cluster, when you return to camp, it may count as a cleared unknown. To minimize the risk of accidentally scaring an unknown, I suggest using plenty of stealth sprays, smoke bombs, and berries to separate the pack from each other. Additionally, try to refrain from using backstrikes to catch your unknown, as even with a smoke bomb active, the sound of the backstrike can scare the cohort. As you see in this clip, I accidentally scared an unknown. If you fear that you may have accidentally scared an unknown, all you need to do is wait until it calms down, which can take a couple of minutes. While waiting for an unknown to calm down, I suggest continuing to use smoke bombs and stealth sprays while feeding it berries. A scared unknown typically bounces around in an anxious manner. However, it's not always easy to discern whether an unknown is scared or not. This is why I suggest using an abundance of caution when performing your hunt. If there's a chance that an unknown may be scared, waiting a few minutes will be way shorter than having to restart your hunt entirely. As you progress through the hunt, the quantity and form of unknown that appear should align with the count and forms indicated by PLA reverse GUI that we recorded in our worksheet. If the quantity and forms of unknown that appear diverge from the path that you recorded in your worksheet, then you did not perform a step correctly and you should start over. This is why I recommend not saving your game until you see your shiny appear on the map. Another important consideration are alpha unknown forms. If an alpha unknown spawns, it can be tempting to clear it. However, if you fail to catch, it may scream and scare its skittish companions inadvertently. This is why I recommend being extra careful when alpha unknown are around. I prefer to clear alphas on steps where all of the unknown that spawn need to be cleared. That being said, in the following clip, you can see that I accidentally enraged an alpha unknown by accidentally throwing a berry rather than a smoke bomb nearby it. Luckily, its buddy did not flee, but took a few minutes to calm down. Once you've executed all the steps on your path correctly, your shiny unknown will appear. Once you hear that oh so satisfying shiny ping, you should save your game before attempting the catch. As you can see in this clip, the final unknown I needed to complete my personal collection was Unknown C. All things considered, using this method, you can find at least one shiny unknown every 45 minutes, give or take, depending on your level of comfort with the method and the path. Now, it's entirely possible to hunt for both unknown multi-spawn points concurrently. However, I would only advise attempting this once you've developed some comfort with the technique. It can take quite a few resets before you'll find exactly 2 unknowns at both spawn points. Well, there you have it. My Shiny Unown collection includes unknown caught via Pokemon Go and massive mass outbreaks in Pokémon Legends Arceus. However, when I had about a dozen forms left to find, this method helped me complete my collection in about a week. Hopefully this tutorial can help you master this technique and complete your Shiny Unown collection in no time. If this video helped you, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe, leave a comment, and like. And until next time, happy shiny hunting.